Now, China may or may not want to play peacemaker, but do the stakeholders want peace? Will the Americans agree to a China brokered deal? Will Ukraine be on board? And will Russia play along? Considering what their president said yesterday, Putin made a major announcement and brought Russia and the US one step closer to a nuclear face-off.
They can't be stupid people. They want to deliver us a strategic defeat while sneaking into our strategic nuclear objects. Regarding this, I have to say that Russia suspends its participation in the New START treaty. Let me repeat, Russia does not abandon the treaty, but suspends its participation in it.
What was that about? The START treaty, the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, that is the full form of START. The Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. Putin says he's walking away from it, and he chose his words carefully. Why is it such a big deal? And what are the implications? We'll discuss all of it, but first, a primer. What is START all about? What is the treaty? The United States and Russia are nuclear powers. They're also arch rivals, and they have massive stockpiles of nuclear weapons. Together, they account for about 90% of the world's nuclear warheads. Going by one estimate, as of today, Putin controls 5,977 warheads, and Biden has 5,428. Not all of them are available for use right away. I'll explain why in a bit. But this is the legacy of the Cold War. The vast arsenal was built during that period. And that was a dangerous time. There was an arms race between the US and the erstwhile Soviet Union. They came dangerously close to a nuclear war. Both sides understood the risks, so they signed a treaty. It was called the START Treaty. It was designed to prevent a nuclear war. It was first signed when the Soviet Union was still intact, then revised in 2011, and then extended in 2021. This latest version is valid till 2026. So has Russia withdrawn from the treaty? Putin says he hasn't. He's just decided to not meet Russia's commitments. And what are these commitments? Under START, Moscow and Washington agreed to not deploy more than 1,550 strategic nuclear warheads, 1,550, not more than that, and a maximum of 700 long-range missiles and bombers. And how would you ensure compliance? The deal allowed for inspections. The US could inspect Russian sites and Russia could inspect the American facilities. How many times? Up to 18 visits in 1 year. But now Putin has walked out of it. He won't implement the terms of the pact, and he blames Washington for his decision. Putin's statement made big headlines, that he's threatening a nuclear war and so on. Now, Russia's foreign ministry has issued a statement. I have it with me. This is what it says, and I'm quoting, Washington must show political will, make conscientious efforts for a general de-escalation, and create conditions for the resumption of the full functioning of the treaty. They're putting the onus on America. And what was America's response? It is calling Moscow's move irresponsible.
The announcement by Russia that it's suspending participation in New START is deeply unfortunate and irresponsible. We'll be watching carefully to see what Russia actually does.
What will be the immediate fallout of this? A new arms race could kick off. Russia could deploy more nuclear weapons, and America will be forced to match every move. The collapse of this treaty might seem sudden, but it's been years in the making. Inspections have been on hold since March 2020. First, it was the pandemic, and then the war in Ukraine. American and Russian officials were supposed to meet last year. A face-to-face meeting was scheduled for the month of November. Egypt was to play host. But Russia decided to postpone the meet. And neither side has set a new date. The US blames Russia. It claims Moscow did not want to allow any inspections.
Prepare those we send to war.
Last month, the US State Department made an announcement. It said Russia was no longer complying with the treaty, and now Putin has made it official. No compliance with the START treaty. Putin says Washington is trying to weaken Russia, so he will not comply with any treaty that constrains Russia. The United Nations, meanwhile, says this could lead to a dangerous situation.
I will reiterate the Secretary General's position, which has been clear, and that is that the U.S. and the Russian Federation should resume the full implementation of the New START treaty without delay. The New START and successive bilateral treaties on strategic nuclear arms reduction between the two countries have provided security not only for Russia and the United States, but for the entire international community.
But words and appeals won't be enough. And let's be honest, it's all about the war in Ukraine. It has become a proxy war between the United States and Russia. The US and allies are trying to weaken Russia through sanctions and through arms supplies to Ukraine, and Russia wants to hit back. Putin wants all the advantage he can get, and nuclear weapons are the ultimate advantage. So the war in Ukraine has just taken a dangerous turn. Nuclear weapons are now in the picture.